Yo, man, pick up.
Hey, man, what's up?
I need a bug movie. I need to make a bug movie.
Tyler will never go for it, dog. He just doesn't understand what makes bug movies special.
I think I know a way to make him understand.
Hello there, everyone, for another episode of Malevolent Movies. I am Joseph Robert Buckley. Tyler Am is with us, as always.
What episode is it, Joe?
It is episode 42.
Holy shit, how did you get that?
That was
I like
quick.
numbers. I like the numbers.
I really didn't expect him to get that.
Someone dropped 42 toothpicks in his room at the same time.
No,
It just
I like
man over here.
Yeah. Need to count them. With us is Nicholas Schwartz.
Hey.
Yeah. Zachary Shaw.
Hey, just stealing Nick's thing.
Okay, that's fine. Finnberg.
Hey.
Yeah. And Sam Michaels.
Hey.
We got a lot of Fonzies in here.
Mm-hmm. And listen, we are rocking out with the band. We have a rock movie, Uncle Peckerhead, and we have a brand new band. This is their introduction tonight. We are going to play a brand new song from them, and it is going to be fantastic.
Hello, we are Bug Shark.
I have a logo that says otherwise.
Oh,
Shark.
Uh-oh.
what's the logo? Worm Shark.
Worm Shark.
That's right. We're Worm Shark.
Scratch that. We are Worm Shark.
That's a really good logo. How long did you spend on that?
I woke up at 7 a.m.
That's great. I love it.
Looks legit.
Yeah, it's almost like a tremor.
Yeah. Something like
Yeah,
that.
I guess isn't that it's in the ground.
So this song really is dedicated to the never-ending passion that myself and my bandmates have. I wrote this when I was going through some really dark stuff.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that comes through, and it's just it's just from the heart through and through.
And Nick was willing to be very vulnerable about it. This is a topic I think that isn't just important to all of us here, but I think to everybody in the world. So I think that's kind of it's important. This song's very important.
So I opened up.
I saw on his Instagram. He had a couple pictures of just like tears running down his cheeks, and he said, "I'm writing a new song. I feel things now."
This is that song.
Okay,
it's,
nice.
It's emotional. So we apologize if you feel something, but also isn't that what art's about?
Hopefully this gets people talking.
Do you have a title for this song? My file says a bugs rap.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Yo, man, pick up.
Hey, man, what's up?
I need a bug movie. I need to make a bug movie.
Tyler will never go for it, dog. He just doesn't understand what makes bug movies special.
I think I know a way to make him understand. The precedent has been established. Insects in the movie business. Bugs Life Them and Starship Troopers. Tyler is a party pooper. A renaissance of bugs is waiting. Laying eggs, they are gestating. Let us have our magnum opus. A swarm of bees, a swarm of locusts. Bugs that crawl and bugs that fly. Bigger, biggest, supersized. Zach already proved to you just what a big bad bug can do. Tyler just don't seem to get it. They want the worm, they want the cricket.
Oh, we really want to bugs. They want the bugs. Bug movie.
Full of protein and nutrition, a future lies in that direction. Mealworms turned into paste, into a slurry, salt to taste. The livestock industry can't keep up. The only option is a cup of grasshoppers turned into bread. It's peer-reviewed, they have the cred. For 12 small payments of $40, we'll set you up with creepy crawlers, shipped alive direct to door. Forget to cancel, we'll send you more. Recruit your family, recruit your friends to sell for you on every end. At the top is where we'll be. Please don't contact the SEC.
Bugs and scorpions. Bugs. Worms wasps and cockroaches.
So here's the thing, you don't know about bugs, they work real hard, they don't ever do drugs. We're not asking for much, just for you to listen. Look at those bugs, watch them glisten. The nest glass trap insecticidal, if we don't see more, we'll turn homicidal. We want to be scared like David Arquette, doesn't have to be spiders, whatever we can get. We'll take ants, flies, centipedes, mosquitoes, maybe even sharks.
Now that I think about it, like, I know this is a bug thing, but I'm a big shark guy too, so what about bug-sized sharks with wings or something? I know now's not the time. Okay, we'll workshop it later.
Bugs, they want the bugs. Oh, we really want a bugs. They want the bugs. Bug movie.
Insects in the movie business. Bugs like them and Starship Troopers. Tyler is a party pooper.
There's only one way to end our frustration, to sum it up. Malevolent infestation!
Sign up today for your bug protein subscription.
You can really feel the vulnerability when you listen to it.
You sold me on this bug box. I am going to order right now.
Please do. And thank you to our bandmate Sam for slapping that funky bass that whole time.
No problem.
Also, we had a guest vocalist who demands to be shouted out. So, thank you, Sarah.
Is that? I think so.
Something.
Once you have, so many groupies.
Yeah.
So there it is. A bug rap, our big hit.
Yep.
Probably gonna put us on the charts.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
out of the two bug songs that I do know, this is the most visceral.
Mm-hmm.
Good. That's what we were hoping to be, is the bug song, the premier bug song.
Number 2 bug song in the world.
Yeah, 10 times better than Weezer's "Bugs Are My Friends."
Mhm.
Oh, boo on Weezer.
Jesus, Joe.
No, I'm saying they are better than Weezer.
I get
Thank
it.
you,
That's
Joe.
what I said.
I don't disagree.
Okay, Uncle Peckerhead, you guys were looking for a road trip movie that involved. Now these were additional points, 5 points each, so it's not a lot, but you could have gotten an additional 15 points from each person rating if you had your group, your main characters getting harassed or picking a fight with the locals, losing something important to the trip, like a wallet, or getting pulled over by the cops.
I could argue all three of those for this movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And we will.
Like. Yeah, and we will, because I could argue all three of those happen in some capacity.
Well, actually, I guess I didn't think about the fact that they technically lose something very important to the trip, their van. At the
They
very
lose their
beginning.
van.
Yeah.
They also lose. They lose their sense
friendship?
of camaraderie. Yeah. In terms of being harassed,
Oh,
there's
that's good.
another band that harasses them. That is
Yes,
a local
that is true.
band,
And the metalheads.
and the Metalheads. Yeah. So 2 different groups of locals harass them. And what was the third one again?
They get arrested.
Yeah, and they literally get arrested.
do.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
So I would say we've hit all 3 of them.
You know what? I might be thinking of a different movie.
of cousin.
So we watched Uncle Peckerhead.
Oh, Pepperhead.
Uncle
Pepperhead.
Pepperhead.
Pepe head.
So yeah, I would say we hit
Yeah.
those.
That would be like a good direct to VHS like kids movie though, about like an uncle who's like a chef and he keeps putting pepper in the food and the kids hate it. They make like faces.
It's funny you said that that you got the wrong the wrong movie, because consistently throughout watching this, I thought I was watching the wrong movie every time.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I was watching. I was like, this can't be the right one, right?
Oh, it can be.
Yeah,
and
it's
it
gotta be
was.
some other Uncle Peckerhead
Right,
movie.
yeah, there's got to be some that's weirder.
I do hope that you accidentally watched something from like 1967
Yeah.
that's just like someone's at-home recording. It's Joe's
be
Uncle
amazing.
Soup and Uncle Peckerhead hanging out in his backyard.
It's Joe's Uncle Soup's Peckerhead.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, bring me the gravy, Peckerhead. Bring me the gravy.
Aw.
Let's go. Who kicks
Who's
it
got
off?
the first one? I think Nick does, right?
What? Oh, sure. Whatever. I don't know.
He's emotionally drained from writing
I
the
am.
song.
It took a lot out of me.
Yeah.
So, Uncle Peckerhead. It's fun. It's a direct ripoff of a 2017 movie, Butcher the Bakers.
Well,
It does open very, very similarly.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's
Here's
very
the-
similar beats and tone throughout.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it.
Here's the IMDb synopsis. When a punk band scores their first tour, life on the road proves tough when they are joined by a man-eating demon as a roadie.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's just get into it then. Uncle Peckerhead opens up with a card saying it's based on a true story. Sure.
I believe it.
Yeah, the first image we get is a pretty fucking cool corpse with a skinned face. It's just a skull face, and a man walks up, and he just casually takes the jaw and starts chewing on it before jumping in his big white van. And that is when we get to the title, Uncle Peckerhead. And then moving on to the first instance of plagiarism. We're at a bakery. We're at a bakery. We see some nice cakes, and we find out, yeah, scones. Well, there's other stuff. Scones. Mm-hmm. It's Judy's last day, and all of her coworkers are saying some words. Scott loves her scones, but fuck Scott. She don't care because she's peering outside and she sees the marquee of what appears to be some music venue, perhaps. And they're adjusting the letters and all that business.
See, now that you brought up our movies, this does seem like a mishmash of Grace's Room and Butcher the Bakers, because wasn't someone doing a marquee on the Roxy in Grace's Room?
Yeah.
And then there's a big van in Grace's Room.
I have to assume that if you're going to make a low budget movie with the yokels in your tiny rural hometown, they're all going to come out fairly similar.
Yeah, that's
my
probably
guess.
true.
So Judy runs out and she greets a man named Amir, who's working on the marquee, and she gives him a demo tape, but he doesn't really care. So then, is this a typo? What? Shark? Oh, never mind. These are band names. Shark Dick is off of the Queen's Queef show, and she wants their band to replace them. She wants to replace Shark Dick.
I don't know how you could. They're so iconic.
Yeah, I agree.
The moment the word shark shows up, I was sure. Yep. Zach's had his hand in this pick.
Yep.
I did. I watched this one. I watched through 2 movies, I think, and this was the one that I was just like, look, this has got the charm we're looking for.
Yep.
Or the something we're looking for. Something. There's something here. This is a
got
movie.
The plagiarism.
Moxie.
They say shark. I'm in.
Zach was watching it like in a baby pool, just flapping a little. That's
Yeah,
why he watches all his movies.
That's true. And I wear like my shark helmet.
He heard the S word and he was hooked.
Exactly.
So we follow Judy again, and she goes to a door that says the House of Duh, and we'll come to find that Duh is the name of their band. She also knows there's an eviction notice outside the door. Inside, we see fellow band member Max. He's sleeping on the floor, and he looks almost identical to my old roommate when I lived in Chicago. He played really loud music through the wall. It was really pissed me off.
Is it your roommate?
It might be. I don't know. This guy has a better attitude. Anyway, so and Mel is there too, the other part of the trio, and they're all just generally stoners. It's fine. And Judy calls a band meeting. So they're mapping out the tour for the Queens Queef Queens. It's Queef Queens. Autocorrect is throwing me off. And Jen Jennings is their drummer, and she's so cool. And there's lots of other really fun band names thrown out there, real creative. And this also felt very much like it was written by us because, I don't know, sounds like us.
What was one like toilet fart?
Queef was there, queef fart, lots of alliteration.
Yeah, bloody dickhole.
Yeah.
Dick butt. All the band names are there.
Yeah, I have a note here that immediately after that, did we make this? So
I think
don't know.
that's what drew me to. Am I watching the right movie? Because I was like, I'm watching the same movies I've seen before, though.
Yeah. You don't have to reinvent perfection.
No.
Yeah, it's true.
Generally, Mel is a downer, but things are looking up. I don't really know what that's in reference to. I was tired when I was writing all this down. But they are walking and they're talking about practicing their stage banter when Max falls and busts his fucking face open. And they have the realization that where's the van? And in that moment, the van is getting repoed by just, I guess, some random looking dudes, probably, the director. Doesn't seem anything that sells Repo Man. Again, we wouldn't have done anything different.
It just looks like some dudes who were stealing their car.
Yeah.
I thought the car was being stolen.
Same.
No.
That would have probably been a better...
For Repo Man, in my mind, it's like I feel like they have to look like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
For some reason. Like, they need to have, like, leather jackets and sunglasses, and I don't know how that would have read less of the cars being stolen to me, but like it feels like Repo Men, I don't know, they just feel different.
I mean, I think it's interesting that they actually had a loan on this van, and it wasn't just purchased outright for a few $100s. So that's
nice
interesting.
Van.
Yeah,
I was gonna say nice white like Chrysler minivan that
Mhm.
have anything shitty anywhere.
Quality. And I don't know if this is a good time before we continue to point out that maybe later, but this movie is not set in the present times, and it's subtle and it doesn't actually talk about it. You just have to infer this.
Yeah.
And you'll see this in many instances, but this is set in the past.
Which is weird because that's like a brand new van. That's like a 2018 van.
There's a few moments where it kind of takes you out of it because they're working with what they got.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm always gonna say, don't fucking do a period piece. You're gonna screw something up, and then some asshole on the internet like me is gonna say, hey, that's wrong.
I had no idea it was set in the past.
Yeah.
But Nick, we can use all these old Western hats. What else are we going to do with them?
Yeah, that's as
For
good
a
a
Bug
reason.
movie.
That's the only reason I need to make a movie. If we find a pile of hats, if I'm being honest, yeah. But anyway,
everyone gets to wear a hat.
Yes. So that's my part. The van is gone, and moving on.
I don't know. Maybe they were going for like a Napoleon Dynamite feel, or like you don't really know what time period it is. You just sort of exist in that time.
Yeah.
It's just like where
it's not really important.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Like it's not important because like none of them have cell phones. I mean, I don't think anyone goes on the internet in this movie or anything. Like they don't obviously post to Craigslist looking for a van. And like you said, and everyone's using cassettes.
Yeah.
Like so
I
it's
thought that
clearly
was more like a quirky band thing with the cassettes.
Yeah, and that's what I thought at first too. But then, by the third time they had to search out a payphone.
Yeah.
Well,
oh yeah, like most of those would have just been like broken or like have like homeless shit in them. But I guess back in the past they would be used.
Yeah, and when you see like the crowd, they're never just holding up their phone to record the set that they're not going to watch back later. So.
I was actually waiting for Amir when he got the cassette tape to just be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, what am I going to do?
What am I going to do with this?
No. You're totally gonna want to watch the 3D ass capture I got of this 3-hour band.
Yeah, exactly.
They got to get their name out there because they don't have their band anymore because the repo guy stole it. So they get a bunch of papers that say, "Hey, can we borrow your van?" It says paid-ish, which I thought was a fun touch, with their name, or their phone number on it. So it's like a montage of just like running over, and then they get to the van we see at the beginning, Uncle Peckerhead's van, and they put a flyer on it and start to walk away, and there he comes out, Uncle Peckerhead jumps out, and basically it's like the biggest dick ever created right away.
Real Peckerhead.
Yeah, a real Peckerhead. Like and he's like, "This is my property, this is my home." And they're like, "Well, we're in a band." And then he flips immediately to the nicest man ever created. And he's like, "Oh man, you're in a band? I've never been in a band, I'll drive you around." And then,
which is good for them because this plan wasn't going to work.
Oh no way.
Nobody would have let them borrow their van.
It's barely a plan.
Yeah.
It's probably a plan that I think that I honestly think that we could have come up with a better plan in terms of finding a van because really there's nothing here.
If you want
Luckily,
a
they
van,
find
I
this
can
van.
get you a van.
Yeah.
It won't be that hard.
Just take it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Judy and Max are there. By the way, Mel, I didn't know Mel's name was Mel until Nick just said it earlier because I think they say it one time.
Yeah, I had to go track it down.
Yeah,
She's
I had
not
to.
very
I
important.
had to go back and fill in the gaps because for
Yeah.
a while, my names in here are some dude and some girl. So
Yeah.
Dang.
Good. Yeah, Mel Moxie is her whole name. I found that out
Mel
at the end of the
Moxie?
movie. Yeah.
geez.
At the end when they do like the reports, you hear her whole name.
Anyway, Judy and Max try to like walk away because they think, this guy's weird. And then he tracks them down and it's like, hey, let's do this. I'll run you around. All you gotta do is pay for gas. And then they're all in the van, and Judy's like, hey, this man, told us we could he could drive us around. And he's like, she's like, I don't know your name. And he's like, oh, it's Peckerhead. And I'm like, what? Like, that's
What a
not your
name.
real name. That's not your real name. You're lying to us. And he's like, well, that's the name my dad gave me. He called me till he died. And he's like, well, my friends call me Peck. And Mel's like, I'm not gonna call you that. And then Max, in his believable niceness, is just like, hey, Peck, because he's just immediately friends with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Then Max goes to put in his tape. He's ready to go on this road trip. They're all ready. And then Judy's controlling nature comes out, switches the tape because her mix is better. Because, Judy's controlling, and we see that in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
She already started racking up negative points.
Yeah. Like, I really like her, but like, she's just so controlling and whatever.
Well, it's funny because like she's the most rational person. It's like maybe we shouldn't
Right.
take a ride in a van from a guy we just met named Uncle Peckerhead, which is an alias probably. So if we have to go to the cops,
no. You see an opportunity like this and you take it.
Yeah.
If a man named Uncle Peckerhead or anything similar to that shows up and offers you a ride, you take it.
That's a good. I mean,
I'm a big proponent of when you don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yeah.
And you don't turn down a ride from Peckerhead.
He's got old man wisdom. He's got moxie. You want what he's going to bring to the table in terms of a ride.
Actually, Mel's got moxie.
Yeah, Mel's got moxie. Joe wasn't listening earlier, so he didn't get that joke.
Yeah. They pull up to the gas station, and Judy's like, hey, can we go faster? Because as you guys alluded, now that I've noticed that this is in the past, she couldn't just look up at the venue and be like, oh, this is when it happens. He's like, well, we don't need to rush. And Judy goes to the back, opens the back up, and spots a little goob on the bumper. Little blood on the bumper.
Nothing to worry about.
Goob blood.
It's probably Max's from when he was loading stuff. It's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, it's Max from falling onto his face into the bumper again. Yeah,
exactly.
For a moment, I thought she was going to taste the blood or goop, whatever it was.
Yeah,
just to see if it was ketchup or something.
Yeah, it was probably ketchup.
Mm-hmm.
He dropped his French fries on the back and while he was loading. Then we get to the venue, locked, and then there and Judy's really mad about it because she didn't look it up, and the promoter's a dick, and that's just how the venue is. It's a piece of garbage. And I wanted to mention, I love the shot of Max playing guitar in the back of the van. I thought that was kind of a beautiful shot, and I don't know, I thought it was kind of sweet just watching the whole band.
There's a lot of nice little moments in there.
Yeah. Well, and like I wonder, so whoever wrote this, I'm assuming may have been in a band, or because like I don't have a lot of experience with promoters or any of that. So because like this guy feels unbelievable to me. This guy who's just like eating, just like, yeah, whatever, get ready.
Oh, the promoter.
Yeah, like I don't have experience with that like situation, but I'm guessing that comes from some sort of scorn.
This venue felt very familiar to lots of places in the Illinois Valley, where most of us are from.
Yeah,
a rundown little bar shithole sort of a place. Felt familiar, so I could buy the dirt bag inside because it felt like home.
The Max character is a musician. He's an active musician. Definitely not an actor. If you didn't know, if you didn't notice.
No.
Also, this is where we get probably my favorite line in the entire movie, where Peckerhead's sitting, in the parking lot by Mel, and he's like, "Hey, where'd you get the name Duh?" And she just says, "Well, James Taylor was taken." I don't know. I thought that's like I just like laughed out loud watching that. It's just funny.
That's where like you look at this movie and you reflect on our movies and you think that like there's so much potty humor in ours and in this. But there are those lines that are pretty good. Those will stand out lines.
Like the mustard.
Sometimes
line.
we're clever.
Sometimes.
Occasionally.
They also named the character and the movie Uncle Peckerhead. So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then holy plot devices, by the way, in this this part, because Judy finds Peck's kit of syringes and drugs, and yeah.
Oh my God, you're saying that a man who lives in this van might do drugs?
Not Peckerhead.
An old man in a van doing drugs with a southern accent. Well,
who got excited to tour with a band?
Well, I never.
And then we get into the office of the venue because the guy shows up. And by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, but this promoter is eating his sandwich, picking out the toppings from inside the bread.
Yeah.
Yes.
He deserves to die.
He's tearing this sandwich apart and he's just like eating the lettuce. What is he doing? Why is he doing it?
He should be sent to sales.
Deconstructing it, eating it one ingredient at a time.
I didn't even notice that. Why did you do this to me? Because I'm watching it now.
So bad.
Yeah, I like to lick the mustard off my sandwich.
Like I understand that sometimes an actor wants something to do. They want something to do, but why that?
Well, yeah, he's like avoiding. He's doing an actor thing where he's trying to avoid eating, but in avoiding eating, he's actively making himself worse, which is effective because he's a terrible, terrible person.
He's eating the lettuce off the sandwich like a monkey eats bugs off the back of another monkey.
Exactly.
Like he's just picking one piece, looking at it, and then eating it. God, I didn't even know. Like I wasn't paying enough attention to that earlier.
Oh, you know what? I would do that with the leftover like bits from like Taco Bell. Whenever I would get like a bunch of tacos, whenever the bits are stuck on the paper, you pick them off and eat them.
That's different.
Yeah,
you
we all do
imagine
that.
getting the taco and just eating the bits.
Yeah,
out of the inside of the taco. It sounds.
Yeah, take your taco completely apart, disassemble it, and then and then eat the cheese, and then eat the beef.
Yeah. That sounds like a meal fit for me.
I'd like to watch you do it if I'm being honest.
I would.
Okay.
Then they say, "Hey, you got 3 hours to play." You guys got 3 hours to play because they're the only band in this showcase. Which I don't know anything about showcases, but it's more than one, I would believe. At least 5. At least 5 bands. But they got 20 minutes. Well, 22 if you count the Misfit cover. This is just like the shittiest stage ever created. Judy almost gets electrocuted. Max doesn't know where to plug anything in. You got the really accurate shitty audio guy can attest to shitty audio guys. So pretentious and their egos,
Bass test. We do vocals first.
Yeah, and the mics are just the worst pieces of garbage anyways. I don't know what he's thinking that he's going to make it better somehow by twisting the EQ knobs, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they get into playing. Duh rips ass, guys.
They do.
This band fucking rules.
Yeah.
Like
Duh puts on a show.
I didn't expect it, honestly.
Me neither.
Right after this movie end, I was like, "Oh man, can I find this soundtrack?" Because I had really kind of enjoyed it the whole time.
Do you have a cassette player?
Yeah, I don't. Wait, do I? Yeah, I do.
There you go. Then yeah, you can get it. It's $5.
Yeah, $5. And I stumbled across a 1991 like weird noise band from 1991 that's called Duh. By the way, actually, their shirt is in this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they came out. Yeah, they came out. It was they had a merch shirt, and it was in later in the movie.
It does say that this is based on a true story. So I mean, I don't know.
It could be. Actually, it makes sense because 1991.
Yeah.
Punk noise band, the actual band. There's some parallels here.
Yeah,
Maybe
this
we
must
should have
be...
done research before.
No, shut up.
I did it afterwards.
Although I just found out that it looks like Dove released an album with a company called Boner Records, so this is all
Hell
starting to
yeah.
add up even more.
Maybe we should call them and get them to do
Yeah,
our next movie
see
with
what's
us.
Jesus.
All right. Well, that's after the show. That's about my part. Then they're about to get paid.
So the band makes a total of $3 from their first night on tour. Peckerhead says he's going inside to take a fat, nasty shit, but he takes so long that Judy goes to check up on him. Inside, she finds Peckerhead devouring the Booker, and they both scream. Judy tells the rest of the bandmates that the Booker is dead, but Peck says that he just wanted to pop him one before they left. Judy says that she caught him eating the man. When the three see the body, Max starts puking, and Mel asks where the head went, and Peckerhead burps. They try to grab his keys off him, but they agree to have dinner with him so he can explain himself. Over late-night toast and onion rings, he says that he should have ran the murder by the rest of them. He says that he can't remember when it started happening, but every midnight he turns into a monster. It only lasts for 13 minutes, but then he's back to good old lovable Uncle Peckerhead.
And he is lovable. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
Lovable is the perfect word for him. For most of this movie,
Very
I
sweet
love
man.
Uncle Peckerhead.
Already grown fond of Peckerhead and Max, and later on I said I would take a bullet for this man.
Yeah.
Gee whiz, I sure do love this Uncle Peckerhead, man.
That's like a common thing. Like, at first I was like, oh, friggin' Max is just a stoner dude, whatever. And now I'm like, don't hurt my sweet boy. Like,
Do not hurt our sweet boy. Exactly.
Mel, I can give two shits about. But
Yeah. They really just let her exist, huh?
yeah, that's unfortunately because she has my favorite line.
I think they were going for what's the drummer in Scott Pilgrim?
Oh yeah,
But you know how she's like the quiet, but like
A grump.
but the grumpy drummer girl. But like she has more to do in Scott
who's
Pilgrim.
also a ginger?
Yeah. So I that was my guess that was the inspiration, but it could
Maybe.
who knows? Could be anything.
Also, regarding eating the guy, you see like half that guy missing,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's bloody.
and Peckerhead's completely covered in blood.
The amount that he eats is inconsistent. I guess it just depends on how hungry he is.
Yeah,
Because like in the beginning, he only ate that one guy's face and then took off his jawbone. I guess we don't know if that was the first guy he ate, but this guy, like he really tore this guy to shreds.
Well, being a roadie builds up an appetite.
That's
That's
fair.
true.
Definitely. There was also the thing that he took advantage of his friends. Peckerhead immediately calls him his friends, by the way.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of adorable that he just spent, I think, like one day in a van with them.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you guys are my friends.
Life on the road. It'll do
Yeah.
it to you. He's just formed a bond that cannot be broken. Also, if you look at the food on the table, like I'm looking at it now, and there's like a stack of pancakes with strawberries. There's a burger that's deconstructed, and there's like a hunk of meat covered in cheese or something. I don't know what that is supposed to be.
I was
It's
going to ask if that's like a
disgusting,
thing you guys have over there.
Yeah,
looks like a
we like the
jumbo
sloppy
dog.
meat.
Okay,
Sloppy meat.
you're taking the wrong sample. Like you're asking to the wrong sample size because most of us probably.
Yeah.
In general, no.
If we see a slap of meat and on a menu, we're gonna go. I'll try it.
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
If
covered
it's
in
cheap
cheese.
enough.
Put
Covered
some
in
cheese on it?
now.
Yeah. Does it come with the onion rings?
Can I actually get extra cheese and extra meat? Can I get double meat and triple cheese?
Now we're talking. I got a Buckley-sized hunger.
I do like too when Judy walks in on Peck. He's like just as terrified to see her.
Yeah.
In like a sweet terrifying. Like he's like ah.
He's been busted. A lot of the effects in this really work. For me, the only one that really does sometimes, and this is just it happens, you could see where his prosthetic on his like eyes, I guess, his like mask, you could see where it pulls up by his
Not great.
by his like temples. But
I
other
thought
than
I was
that, I think
imagining that.
well, and like I think they tried to be like get away with just covering it with some sort of with like the white powder or something to make it look like it's just veins or something, but it just you could see it pulling up. But most of it, I actually really enjoy the practicals in this movie.
They ask him why he killed him, and Peckerhead says, how else were we going to get paid? I think it was Mel said, well, we didn't get paid. Au contraire. And I didn't think he'd actually manage to pronounce it properly. Because they give him this southern accent.
He's a man of culture.
Yeah. We don't know where he's been.
He's a traveled man.
and he whips out a folded stack of dollar bills.
Yes, sir.
Probably $1 bills.
No, they were at least 20s.
20s?
But
Yeah.
they're at one of those little American diners where you can reasonably get all of the food they got there for $20.
Yeah.
You know,
Hands down.
I believe it.
You know what? I'd say I just want a strong cup of black coffee and a big piece of cherry pie whenever I see a diner.
And a slap of meat. You got to get that slap of meat.
Definitely.
Well, of course, the cheese covered meat roll.
Yeah.
It's their biggest thing. It's what's on
Do
the
you
sign.
have cheese-covered meat log?
It's on the sign.
Can I get that well done?
Comes with the onion rings.
You hear the chef in the back, and he's like, "All my friends are chickens."
What?
Also, throughout the Peckerhead trying to explain himself, Judy prevents the others from eating, like smacks Max's hand away. But afterwards, just Mel and Max start eating, listening to Peckerhead, and Judy just still has that dead stare looking at Peckerhead.
Yeah, I mean it's sinful murder food.
I do enjoy how other than Judy, who it needs to be a foil. I enjoy the casual cavalier attitude that everyone just seems to have with Uncle Peckerhead, accepting him as if he's like, okay, this, of course, why wouldn't this happen?
Yeah.
That's how I like to think I would approach the situation, because again, you see an opportunity, you go with it. Uncle Peckerhead is eating a man, and he gives you a wad of 20s. Okay, can't be all that bad.
Yeah, he's a Southern gentleman. I mean, there's a lot to love about the guy. What's a few pesky murders?
Yeah.
If you have a companion with a van,
You take
And
the
money.
good, you take the bad,
mm-hmm.
you take them both or whatever.
And he has
Yeah.
more qualities than just the van, but we'll
Yes.
get to that.
Exactly.
For now, he says, oh, it won't happen again. The others take a vote if they have Old Peck with them. Max raises his hand. Judy is surprised. And then Mel also raises her hand. So Old Peck is here to stay. Judy also brings up another thing. She pulls out the small little pouch with the syringes and those little flasks in there as well. And everyone acts surprised. Old Peck taking drugs?
Not our friend, the murderer, demon man, Uncle Peck.
I took it to mean that these are the tools of a madman who would drug them and hack them to bits.
Oh, sure.
As one does, I assume.
That actually makes more sense than just being worried about like heroin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. But Judy says, you take insulin? Which actually is kind of a good metaphor for this. He uses them to keep himself sedated, so he doesn't actually go out and kill people.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, it actually is his insulin. But now, after all that's said and done, we cut to a room with the door barricaded with insulin cases. Mel and Judy sit together in the room and discuss what happened. And Mel actually asks Judy what kind of monster he looked like. Like a sexy panther? No, he just looked kind of pale, which was a bit of an understatement. He had fangs.
Nubby fingers with claws at the end.
He looked like a monster they could afford.
Yeah. What's going on in Mel's mind that she thinks that this older, kind of portly Southern gentleman turns into a sexy beast when he transforms, right? Like why? What would lead her to believe that he's going to become a real sexy kind of monster?
It's just a hope.
Yeah, I think Mr. Hyde was sexy.
We all hope that Joe is gonna transform at midnight, like the Mogwai he is, and turn into that smart gremlin in Gremlins 2.
Oh, yeah, the brain gremlin. I want to be the bat gremlin. That would be cool. Flapping around, bothering people,
Joe
getting in people's hair.
will only transform into the sexy monster if he gets wet, and we all know Joe hates being wet.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't care for that one bit.
See?
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate.
I think it's just Mel has got a hot for monsters. I don't think
That
she
could be.
cares what kind of monster.
Look, we can't
Vincent.
talk. We know someone with that same affliction.
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Someone who will not be named.
Yeah.
Out of
I'm not going to
privacy
name him, but he really
concerns.
wants to fuck the blob.
Do you think he'd want to fuck Uncle Peckerhead?
He is a monster. I mean, I'm not
Right.
going to say anything bad about it, but yeah, I think he would get a little hard watching this film.
Yeah.
Do you think
he's
he's
a sweet
off-chub?
monster?
Do you think he's gonna tear you a new asshole for saying anything, Joe?
Oh, well, you know what? I can take it. I can take it, mister.
Yeah.
Joe secretly has been hoping that Ryan would tear him, or I mean, someone would tear him a new asshole for a very long time.
Why
Still
do I
hasn't
need a new
happened.
asshole? What's wrong with my old asshole?
You know what's wrong with it? You put meat logs in there.
Just a big Snickers bar. I wanted to see if it looked the same coming out, going in.
Shut the fuck up.
Moving along.
Yeah, okay. Judy's worried that he might turn on them, but Mel says he has a system in place, which has failed, by the way. It cuts to scene of a bathroom. Max sitting on the toilet, Peckerhead brushing his teeth. Two men together sharing a bathroom, sharing a bond that no other people can share.
I don't even share this with my fiance. I have never pooped in front of my fiance.
I do like how they sort of like
Poop together.
hide the toilet. They
Yeah.
hide the toilet.
Yeah.
It's a
Max
reveal.
is just sitting down. You're like, he's on the toilet, isn't he?
Probably.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a big reveal when he finally flushes.
Right. Yeah.
Max asks Peckerhead, how do people taste? Some people taste like dog shit. Other people taste like watermelon, and I don't know what it was. Sorbet?
Oh,
What?
sherbet. It's like,
Sherbet.
it's kind of like ice cream, not really. It's like fruit-flavored ice cream.
The word is sherbet.
Yeah.
Sherbet.
Colloquially mispronounced as sherbet.
Mhm.
For the pedants out there. He says sherbet, but yes, it is in reference to a delicious creamy ice treat.
Mhm. I had sherbet last night.
Fruit flavored.
It's the healthy ice cream.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I don't want to get ice cream. It's unhealthy. Better get sherbet.
Then you eat 500 calories of sherbet. Yeah, but it's raspberry
Yeah,
flavored.
It's
got
just
no
a little
cream in it.
treat. It's just a little treat for me.
Joe, I'm not gonna say that I haven't thought about eating you before and what it would be
Yeah.
like.
Like a cheese meat roll.
Yeah, I mean, there's a marinade that's been going on for nigh on 28 years now, and you're soaking in all the things that I like. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
it's
Some
like
pork roast.
Yeah.
Some Pringles.
the Pringles, the Taco Bell, the Mountain Dew, all the things. There's a umami about you.
Mhm.
that
You know what
I-
I've got next to my bed? I've got half a pound of Werther's original hard candies.
Oh, don't get me
I've been sucking on
started.
that.
I
Oh,
mean, if you are what you eat, Joe Buckley is just where there's
I'm
original.
counting on it, Sam.
Cut to Judy on the phone, asking for the cheapest van. Prices are apparently too high. The standards are getting lower and lower. What's the cheapest vehicle that still drives? She sees Max taking off his shirt in a wooded area. Turns back around to the phone. I don't know why he did that.
Oh wait, is this the part where the two of Max and Mel show up in the same shirt and they have a weird interaction? And they're just cutting away to it, and then he takes off his shirt. Is that what that is?
Oh, I didn't even think
Yeah.
that there was a reason behind it. I literally didn't put two and two together.
It felt very much like some weird filler that we would put in there.
Yeah.
That,
Yep.
well, we
Yeah.
need her looking off at something. What is it? Something weird, and that's I took no further meaning out of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the only
I
thing I
choose
got
not
was
to.
like a, oh, I'm Andy Dwyer and I'm sweaty kind of
Yeah,
thing.
just like a
one of
goofy
those. Like,
boy.
I'm sweaty. I got to take my shirt off.
Judy turns back to the phone and she calls Amir. And as soon as he hears it's Judy, puts down the phone and says, calling too early, it's not Friday yet. Phone's down instantly. And Amir is a dickhead, I'd say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, pretentious asshole.
Peckerhead shows up later. Judy asks him for the keys to the van. And he nearly hands it to her and then goes, no, nice try, Judy Pie. Then it cuts to the van driving again. Judy is playing her music again, and Max wants to actually play his tape this time. Says hers is carefully curated, while his is hunk, I think she said.
I've never heard that
Is that what she says?
ever again. It's pretty good.
I had to listen to that part like 3 or 4 times. I'm fairly certain she says hunk, and I don't know what she means by that.
It's 90s lingo, you know.
yeah, it had to be there. Just a part of the scene.
She also mentions that he's known to put the same song on one side multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. I've
I
been
do
there.
too. Because it's like, I like this song enough.
Yeah.
Let's listen to it again.
Let's start and end with this one.
Yeah. Let's put comfortably numb on 5 times.
That describes your life, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Now Peckerhead intervenes and says, now, usually the driver gets to pick, and I say everyone gets to play their music. Max can play today, since Judy's had her day yesterday. Then he asks, Mel, you want to? Mel just responds with, nothing matters. Peck gives the most genuine shrug I've ever seen. Cut to them arriving in front of a suburban house. Mel is surprised that the place where they're going to crash at is such a quaint little HQ for a band named Pissface.
Hell yeah.
Very great name for a band.
Oh yeah.
It turns out Judy cold called their number after listening to their demo tape last year. As soon as she says that, turns around, and there's Nick in his full glory.
Yeah.
A handsome man with long, luscious hair and a long, luscious beard, and he immediately hooks Judy.
He's dreamy.
A very handsome Nick. Yeah.
Yeah, if you with his eyes 10 feet apart.
He does have Sid from Ice Age eyes,
Yeah.
but he's still very handsome.
I wasn't sure if I should mention that because I thought that would be a bit inappropriate.
He's a hunk. He can take it.
Yeah. Max immediately checks out Nick's posterior and appears to be quite pleased with it.
The look that Max gives his butt would only be accompanied by a sound of like it's just he does like yeah.
It's like in 16 Candles when it with the gratuitous shot of the boobs.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
I very much enjoy Max's little look there.
Yeah, you hear him like inside his head. He goes Hachi Machi.
So we cut inside. We find out the massive height difference between Nick and Max. Something I didn't know if Max is short or if Nick's a freak. But if you go to the scene at 37:42, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like Max, you could stack Nick's entire head on top of Max's head.
Well, he's
It's
a bass
insane.
player. They're all freaks.
Are they all very? That's fair. And I wrote him down as Scott Stapp from Creed because he looks like the lead singer from Creed. He says that they should hang out, maybe do some swimming later. And Max is getting horny. He's like, "Oh, I bet you could do a sick jackknife." And the whole room gets very uncomfortable, like when Joe tells one of those jokes of his.
You know the ones.
You know the ones that come out of his mouth. The whole band talks about how handsome this guy is once he walks out. Like everybody is. Mel tells Judy, she's like, "You better fuck this guy." And then Peck comes in, and everyone's kind of like, "Let's stop talking about fucking guys." And Peck sits down, and he's like, "Hey, you guys talking about blowjob eyes out there?" He is dreamy. And then Max is like, "Oh, he's just like my old camp counselor." And this is a joke again, ripped right out of our playbook. He's like talking about his camp counselor, and then Mel goes, "Hey, come on, Max, have some decency." And you look down, and guess who's popped a big old boner?
Hard dick. He's got a big hard dick.
And so Max turns to the side as if to like show it off. And Uncle Peck says, "Hey, looking good, Maxie boy."
I love how supportive everyone is.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's
They're
great.
supporting boners and
Hi there, friendo. Your penis sure is hard.
In this culture of toxic masculinity we live in now, I wish one of my friends would tell me
Right.
I have a good boner. Never
well,
once.
what? Hey
I
man,
really got Joe for that.
All right, I'm coming over.
I've been half torqued this whole time just because I'm worried that one of you guys won't compliment it when I get there. You know, obviously
Man.
the cameras aren't on, but I felt like you would know if I had it.
it's
Be there-
time.
be there now.
It's time for us to be more progressive and accepting of each other's boners.
Yeah.
Oh boy, Zach, you sure do have a beautiful cock.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. It felt different coming out of your mouth than I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
it
no.
would feel. And maybe I'm walking
those-
back.
All those
There's one of
good
those
feelings
jokes.
are
Oh,
gone.
Nick, don't think you're out of it. You have a juicy one too.
Oh,
Fuck up! You talk about my boner.
Hey, I'm just
I
gonna be
don't like this. I take
complimentary.
everything back. I don't ever want to talk
Yeah.
about penis again.
Never
Okay.
again. Never, ever again. Anyway, we cut to the pool, and Blowjob Eyes and Max are doing some water romping. Max does a 10 out of 10 dive. He's like, "Hey, watch me." And he jumps, and it's just like flailing every limb of his as he
he's,
lands
like
in the pool.
running.
Yeah. And then BJ sees this as his opportunity to. I've called him BJ because it's short for blowjob. Even because I kept forgetting his name.
Is it Nick?
It is
Yep.
Nick. It's gonna be easier now because Nick's in the room with me, in the virtual room. But flirts it up with Judy, and he's like, "Hey, I've been a big fan of yours since as long as I've heard your music. I've been a huge fan." And they're about to smooch when Uncle Peck comes right out of the water. He's got his Audi on full display. And honestly, his swim shorts are kind of riding a little low. Is that the V? I don't
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
It's more like a U.
A U? So that's the U I've been getting told about, huh?
He's
Yeah,
got
it's
like
fine.
a belly button the size of a $50 though.
Yes. I've only seen a belly button like that on my grandpa. And so to see it on Uncle Peck. But he is like, I bet you Peck was shredded in a past life.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
for sure.
Like the way he wears his shorts, he had to have been. But he pops up, he's like, hey, Judy, I need my insulin, right? And I love this moment from Judy. It's one of my favorite spots from her. It cuts to Peck sleeping in the driver's side of the van, and she's standing outside the window just staring at him, going, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And I very much enjoyed that. We cut back. She's finally content. She goes inside, and Nick's shirtless on the couch. You know, he's just chilling there. That's where he's planning on sleeping. And he's got like, does anyone know what that tattoo is called?
Oh, it's like a
Oh,
saint.
fleur de lis.
Yeah, fleur de lis.
Yeah.
He's
He's
got like a
that.
couple teardrops tattooed next to his eyes.
He doesn't.
He
though.
doesn't have
You're
those.
just making. God damn it, Joe.
Well, whatever. I like saying things.
She comes in, they're talking a little bit. They finally get to banging. And it turns out Nick does have one flaw. And that's he's a very vocal banger.
She hates it.
She's not having a good time. When Joe pretends to be having sex, because we know he hasn't and never will, and he makes all these noises and he says, oh, yeah, yeah. That's basically what Nick is doing here.
I was really worried as I was watching this. I was like, oh, please don't let Joe have this part.
Oh yeah. This makes my penis feel good. Feel good.
Oh,
Yeah,
Take a second.
yeah.
It's basically in the same vein as
Yeah.
what's being said.
And it's made even worse when she looks out and sees what I assume is one of the biggest boner killers you can see, which is Demon Peck standing outside, smiling. He's seeing boobies. He's having a good time. And then, Nick does a big cum, and Judy's pissed, obviously.
Yeah.
Because for two reasons. One, the guy obviously finished inside of her, and two, Peck saw her biddies. And I'd imagine both of those are equally as frustrating to her at this moment.
The double whammy.
Yeah, really, it's just a bad night. So she runs outside to see Peck, and he's still fast asleep in the van. So cut to the next day. She's eyes are wide awake. Everyone's giggling in the kitchen. You can hear like having a too good of a time. So she gets up. She's annoyed. And she goes in, and here is our second mention of scones. Because guess what? Peck made scones. Everyone's raving about them. These scones are great. And Nick, I love that. Nick starts to eat it, and he starts to make very similar sex sounds to last night. So there's a little flashback, cutback sequence. Judy's reluctant to eat the scone. They're like, come on. They do a little light peer pressure on her. And she sneaks away to the bathroom. She does take a bite, and wouldn't you know it, it's delicious. It's a tasty scone. So we cut to Judy now sitting on a bench, and she's smoking a cigarette when before the Piss Face show. And this tool in a jumpsuit with a septum piercing and a mohawk walks up, and we learn his name is Shiloh. He's from the band Dominion Rising. He borrows her cigarettes from her. He starts smoking, and he's asking her all these questions, but he's got this real like art school dropout vibe, right?
Very condescending.
Yeah. He's cutting her off every time she talks. He's like, first tour? And she's like, yeah, we're doing it. And he's like, yeah, us too. We're on tour. And everything just keeps cutting her off. It's really annoying type. One that you would maybe hope gets what's coming to him later on in the movie.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Perhaps.
So finally, he says something so poetic, he just has to exit this conversation. He's like, I got to go write this down. This is poetic. This is perfect for my next song. And she asks for her cigarettes back, and he tosses them to her, but he couldn't be bothered to actually toss them to her. He just kind of tosses them at her feet.
Okay. So
We got there.
we're at a merch table. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're at a merch table, and Judy really wants us to make the sale, but the box of demo tapes is missing. Turns out Peckerhead took the box and he sold all of them. And another woman comes up and she wants to buy two. Wow. And Judy is visibly kind of annoyed, even though things are good. We got Uncle Peckerhead. He's helping out the band. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
They
It's the
say
best
goodbye.
roadie a band could have.
Yeah,
For
he's
real.
great. They say goodbye to Nick, and they're outside. They say goodbye to Nick. They're about to get in the van, and Judy gives them an invoice for the morning after pill because, you know,
He did a big cum.
he did a big cum.
He made spurt.
Yeah.
Don't be a fool, wrap your tool.
Exactly.
That's good. So now we're out in the parking lot. It's at nighttime and it's secluded. And Judy wants to get Peckerhead to go to sleep, but the other band members don't wanna. They want to party. So Judy goes off on her own. She goes to bed. And we cut to the next morning, and they're hosing off Peckerhead, just spraying him down with a hose, and he's loving it, and everyone's happy and having a fun time. And then we go back. We see what happened that night. We have a little flashback. Turns out it was the Metalheads. The Metalheads show up in the parking lot, and they start doing what Metalheads do best. They pull out their old
The boombox.
Boombox, that's the word. Words are hard, and they
See,
just
now you know my pain.
Yeah, they start rocking out with zero regard for anyone else who's sleeping in the parking lot, and they don't care. So then Peckerhead goes up and confronts them, and they tell him to basically piss off because they're thrashing. And one of them smokes Max with a beer can.
He's walking with the blanket looking like a sad puppy.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, it's pretty loud over there.
Yeah, he just wants to go to sleep. He's a sweet, innocent guy.
Yeah.
He liked this character.
Mhm.
So now it's midnight, though. So you know what that means. Peckerhead is pecking. And one of them goes to punch him, and he intercepts the punch with his mouth and bites the guy's fucking hand off.
Hell yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
And then to the other guy, we get, which is probably the coolest part of this whole movie. He grabs the guy's head, he starts twisting it, pulls it up, and like fucking Sub-Zero, pulls the guy's head out of off of his body with the spine attached. Again, we did something similar, just pointing it out, but it's cool, it's good. And that's what they did. That's why they're hosing off Uncle Peckerhead the next morning.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it was gruesome. There's a lot of spraying, and it's like in Kill Bill when she cuts off that guy's head. The spurting, it's good. I love it, and that's all for that happens there. It's a lot. It's condensed, but there's a lot of cool stuff in that. Time.
I like the effects there. I think they did a pretty good job.
Fun scene.
I agree.
And the amount of blood that sprays on Max and Mel is just obscene.
Yeah.
And the fact that after they get sprayed, they have to stay alive is, I can't imagine acting there, because it's just like you're just getting hit in the face with, red water for like a minute, and then you got to say something afterwards.
Damn.
I would forget all existence while I was getting hit in the face with the blood like that.
You don't get 2 takes on that either.
No, yeah. If you did, then the Nick Schwartz's of that.
Nick Schwartz doesn't do 2 takes.
Punch you in the throat.
One take, Nick.
So Judy's sitting there, and Judy disapproves of killing people.
What a prude.
She just doesn't like it, And then she's like, "Oh wait, what day is it?" And Max just goes, "Oh, Wednesday," which is not even close, because it's Friday morning, and we all know Friday morning is when she's supposed to call Amir for the House of Independence. So she gets to the payphone, calls Amir, and Amir's like, "I've been here for 11 minutes, almost 12, and he's cutting like a snowflake, but like the holding hands snowflake thing, like that's what he did in the 11 minutes he was at work."
Yeah, he's got a very important job.
Yeah, he's been busy. how he did that in 11 minutes. I don't know.
He's a
He's
talented man.
talented.
Yeah.
Yeah. Judy's talking on the phone with Amir, and Peck says she looks like she's sitting on a nest of hornet's nest. And I think the director literally told her, make the face you're sitting on a hornet's nest. She makes it.
They were like, you're not allowed to poop for 4 days leading up to this scene, is what they said.
Which is another parallel to Butcher the Bakers. You're not allowed to poop for.
Yeah, no one could poop.
You gotta hold it in.
Don't go in that toilet.
Yeah.
You dare poop out that nasty poop.
And then,
I'm sorry for making the sin.
Judy hangs up with Amir, and then walks towards her, looks towards everybody, looks dejected, kind of, but then does this like little twirl, and everybody is excited because they can play the House of Independence. Then we cut to them in the pulling up at the next venue, and there's what do you say his name was? Milo?
Shiloh, I think.
Shiloh, the guy with the mohawk.
Yeah,
The
Shiloh.
septum piercing, whatever, pretentious band with stupid nose ring, so far up his nose it's up his ass. Judy's gaining more confidence here because she got the House of Independence. That she's validated, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's got more confidence and basically tells this butthole off, and he he spouts some garbage and then says, "You're lucky I'm a pacifist." Man, it's like this pacifist is a dick. What a shocker.
Right.
Yeah,
And because Duh is headlining this show and not the dickheads of Rising.
Yep.
Whatever we named
Dickheads
them.
Rising.
And then as he leaves, both her and Peck just bust out what a C word.
Yeah.
It just that's their
Joel,
moment
say
together.
it. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, big.
Oh
sloppy.
yeah. That one. They say that.
they finally had common ground.
Yeah, they're friends now.
Mhm.
Well, they're not, but
They're
then
getting there.
the show happens again, and it just starts in with the music, and again, Duh really slaps.
Yeah.
They're so good.
I hope they go on tour around here sometime.
Yeah, I do too.
Without
in 1991.
without Peck though. Well, look, they're older, which means they have some new material.
So they get done playing, and everyone's loving the show, and then Max has to talk.
Oh, poor
And
boy.
I feel this deep in my soul because this is exactly how I would talk. Just, hey, my name is Max, right? Like, he forgets his name. And what I thought was really cool is they took the audience noise and like ramped it up so you just like could not hear Max anymore. I thought that was a neat little.
There's good
neat
audio
little way.
mixing in this movie.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good like production quality
Yeah.
stuff in here. Like, and then it's so really Max just decides, well, let's just play, or Mel just says that, let's just
Yep.
play. Let's just play. They start playing again, rockin' song. Nobody's listening, and then Peck sees that nobody's listening, and probably the sweetest moment in this movie.
Oh my god, by far.
Is Peck grabs everybody, makes sure everyone's listening, and Max and Judy are fucking rocking out, just like, and this is really Peck's redemption for Judy, because Judy like looks at him as they're playing and just like gives him a quick smile, and
It also starts dancing, busts a couple
yeah.
move.
Yeah, that shot where he's dancing and his head is swaying and the camera's swaying with it, I thought was really
Rewatching
a
this
neat shot.
makes me super sad knowing where this heads, because I'm
Yeah.
like, look how proud he is of his new family, his new
Right.
friends, knowing like he's just so happy, he's so proud, and it's just unfortunately he just likes murdering.
Spoilers, God.
Well, let's look.
I sadly knew where this was heading. I was hoping, please do not let it go the way I think it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's definitely a shift at this part of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, I think Judy's starting to trust Peck a little more, and I really liked it this moment. This is like one of my favorite parts of the movie. Just like
It's great.
their redemption just like felt really, really nice.
If you want a happy end, this is the part where you could
Just stop.
stop
Yeah.
watching the movie and you're like, they're all friends. Everything's going great.
So, back at the hotel, Max is dancing on the bed, Mel is freshly showered, and Judy is drinking.
I hope you took notes on the dancing, Joe, in case you have to do a dance off at the next time you and Tad have to go and do a dance off. Max has some good moves in here.
I also had some good moves.
Well,
This is some pure Tyler Am energy. though.
dancing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she spots Peckerhead outside and goes to talk with him. She tells him that she doesn't see eye to eye with him about the whole killing people and then eating them thing. But she's glad that he's here. His abomination alarm goes off and he heads in for the night. But when the band is up and ready to go in the morning, he's late. Max is wearing a band shirt because it's the only clean thing he owns, and Judy writes on his hand what he should say on stage. When they get to the next gig, the bull-ring-nosed man is dancing shoeless on the rug. His music is more screaming than music, and the crowd doesn't look entertained. When Duh is up, Max has trouble making out what's on his hand, so he dedicates their last song to Peck. A woman comes up to them after the show and offers them a place to sleep, and says her grandma won't mind because they already have another band staying over.
It's the dickheads staying as well. Mel's immediate reaction is whipping out her pocket knife, saying, turf war. Peck's here to de-escalate, says, a roof's a roof. Shiloh starts on this thing, oh yeah, since there's 2 rooms here, but since we're here first, we're taking the bigger room, which is also better since we're, 4 men. What, do you think I'm being sexist? No, that's just biology.
Oh,
This
dickhead
man is
supreme.
so very punchable
Yep.
right now. I have it in my notes. Capital letters, very punchable. Peck himself is also not amused. Give them a stare. But after they arrive at the room, it's an incredibly tiny room. I don't know does someone actually have such a small room where they live in?
I would assume so. Even like my spare room in my house is not very big, but it's even bigger than this. Like it is a teeny tiny room that's literally just like the size of the bed and a side table. That's
It's like a bathroom.
yeah.
They decide Peck should sleep in the actual bed. They shall get the sleeping bags and sleep in the living room. Peck is happy. It's like, oh. And Judy just says, you snore like a son of a bitch. Well, I'll hit the hay and you can get the stuff from the van. And he tosses the van's keys to Judy, which is a nice sign of trust.
It finally happens.
It cuts to Max, Mel, and Judy watching something on the television.
I'm not sure what this is. I assume this is a real movie. Does anybody know what this is?
Oh, that's Toxic Avenger.
Is it Toxic
Yeah.
Avenger? That's what I thought it was, but
is
I
it
wasn't.
the first? It's not the first one,
It's
though,
not
is
the
it?
first
I'm
one.
I
not
didn't
sure,
think so.
yeah.
That's so I've seen the first one and I was like, this looks like it, but I didn't think
I was
that.
guessing 3.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was too.
Citizen Toxie.
I would have remembered a man in the dress pulling a machine gun out from
Yeah,
under the dress.
that's what I need. We need Ryan here for these things.
Hey, how much do you think Danny Lloyd got paid for that clip in the movie? 1,000?
He probably just said, yeah,
$80.
They bought a copy of it at a convention and asked him, and he's like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah, sure. I don't
Yeah.
care.
They probably didn't even ask. They probably just put it in and he saw it.
Yeah.
And he went,
Yeah, and he would have. I'm sure he would just approve of it. Like, yeah, it's fine. Steal it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, while watching the movie, all of them just kind of look sad, dejected, just dead inside. Judy decides it's time to get the sleeping bags. Max and Mel don't make a move, so she has to go and take those herself, carry them inside. And as she comes back, Max is gone. Mel's sitting there alone, watching the news. What is on the news? 2 people have been killed at a motel. Probably the motel they were staying at. I don't know. It's explicitly mentioned. It says the motel at so and so.
It was
What
the same one.
What if it was just a
What a
random
thought.
coincidence?
Yeah.
I was genuinely hoping. I was like, oh shit, they're
Also,
gonna
the
think
hotel.
Peck did it, and it's not Peck's doing actually. But no,
Yeah.
we all know who did it. So they go and check the bed, and Peck's gone. The abomination alarm starts beeping. They go to the other band's room where they see Max tied and gagged, one of the dickheads holding a baseball bat. Cut to them all sitting there bound and gagged.
This is such a weirdly sinister plot for the band to do here.
Right.
To be like, we're gonna tie you up. Like, what? Surely Grandma's gonna untie him tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, That was completely out of left field.
Yeah. Granted, they're dickheads.
Classic dickhead move.
You won't be making the show tomorrow. We will. But as he says that, something's knocking on the door. Who could it be? It's not Peckerhead. It's the girl telling him to keep it down. She says, of course, namaste, being a pretentious dickhead, as usual. Closes the door, and this is actually kind of interesting. He actually speaks a little quieter for a moment.
Yeah.
Knocks on the door, but first, a growl. One of the dickheads goes to the door, puts an ear to it. Bam! Door opens. He just gets turned into jelly.
He just gets
It's
squished.
just a stain on the wall.
Yep.
Cut to driving on the road again while covered in blood. Girl and the granny are hostage, tied back in the van. Cut to Peck ripping out the guts of one guy. Everyone is screaming, even the tied up band. Cut to guy with the baseball bat getting ready to smack Peck, but Peck turns around, spits acid in his face.
Yeah.
It's a new power. He's evolving.
More screaming in pain this time. Peck picks up the bat and starts hitting that guy in the head with a bat. And you can see it's a puppet,
Yeah.
but it's actually kind of... It looks funnier that way, I think.
Yeah.
I thought it looked like a child.
But it ends up like it is goofy and campy, but I think
Yeah.
it works.
It works.
Yeah.
Not that bad.
It cuts to the van again. Anyone got any music? Trying to bring up some normalcy again. Meanwhile, the radio is playing some really somber music. It's like, oh, Max, do you want to play some music? It's called back to before. Max just flinches, shakes his head. Cut to the main dickhead getting his heart punched out.
I'm happy he did. I'm not so happy with what happened afterwards because
Yeah.
it felt like
I was going to ask, shall I go into detail here?
Well, you got to.
you've come this
Yeah,
far.
you make brown.
You see, Peck starts eating this man's heart, but something's wrong. Stomach starts rumbling. So he turns around, pulls down his pants, and a spray of diarrhea comes out going across everyone.
He makes a duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, this is another example of we would have done the exact same thing,
Right.
Yeah.
and we almost did.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And
a whole movie of this.
yeah, Finn, I
Yeah.
don't know if you're too familiar with our extended
I've watched
works.
all of them.
Yeah, there
Sorry.
was almost a very similar instance of something happening.
Yeah, we were gonna make a poop movie.
Yeah, we almost made a poop movie. It's we won't get into detail, but it just again it solidified in my mind that this
Oh, it wasn't solid.
this is our movie. I feel responsible for this movie partly.
I'm starting to believe there's a bunch of Tyler Am clones running around making movies. We
Yeah.
had Super Hot.
Yep.
Now this.
We're trying to find him.
Find them, you got to destroy them.
You gotta chop off his head because he's just gonna grow 2 more back. It's a problem. They say the thing about poop movies is every time one is created but not made, then another has to take its place. And I think part of it is here.
Yeah, it's
I
a
didn't enjoy
curse.
the poop. I did not enjoy the poop in this.
I didn't mind it.
I'm fine with
I
poop.
thought it was fun.
I
Look,
didn't need it.
I'm
The
not.
effect's fine.
I'm not the biggest poop guy, but I mean a well-placed tactical strategic diarrhea spray now and again. I don't think there was a lot of context or the appropriate setup for it in this, but then again, when is there ever?
Yeah, that's fair.
You
So-
put just a little bit of brown in the air cannon. You fire it at the actors. Everybody has a grand time.
Right. And then, maybe a romance is sparked up, but that's a tale for
Maybe.
another time.
Yeah.
Peck does say that some people taste like dog shit, and obviously
True.
this guy tastes like dog shit and needed to get him out of his system immediately.
I was just gonna say that it could have worked like a Chekhov's gun. Like, oh yeah, if I eat people who taste bad, I get stomach problems.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
shit
Oh,
cannons.
I liked that we just get this he gets powers as he needs them, and sometimes it's spitting acid or it's shitting acid.
Cut back to the van where he apologizes to everyone that they are covered in his dookie, which they still are after that whole night. They're driving around covered in blood, covered in shit, and nobody's decided, okay, maybe, just take a towel, just wipe it off. But then Judy has a brain blast. How were you able to come here when you were sedated? And Peck gets flustered. Oh, maybe like a sixth sense, like a mother,
I'm starting to think that this demonic, strange man in a van who eats people might not be totally up to snuff.
I don't know.
What, you're saying he's not above board?
I've got a bit of a suspicion that maybe, things aren't as they seem.
Well, sadly, you're right on that. Since Judy checks the glove compartment again, and the meds are gone, there's something else lying there. Someone's wallet. Someone's wallet whose name isn't Peckerhead.
Oh, man.
Esteban Mendoza.
The thing is, like, why would he have lied about it in the first place to forego with the name Peckerhead instead?
Yeah.
Well, Esteban isn't as funny.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, nobody wants to sit on Uncle Esteban's lap, like Uncle Peckerhead.
Well, this brings up the question, Peck, is this your van even? And what have you been injecting yourself with? Water. So you've been hydrating yourself every night, which is important,
Yeah.
Drink water, everyone.
Well,
Yeah.
why was he doing it?
Yeah.
Why was he doing it? Why did he have those already preset in the van?
Yeah.
It's not like he got them after, he decided he's going to make up this story they were already in the van and then they came on the adventure.
Well,
Why was he
maybe-
doing this? Why did he say this?
He knew that when he turned into a bad thing, right? When he turns into Uncle Peckerhead, the demon version, he gets dehydrated and thirsty, but he doesn't drink water. So it's like, how you have to drink before you drink water before you go out drinking for the night so that you don't get a hangover.
Humans are like 80% water.
Yeah, but he wanted, maybe when he turns into a demon, he's only like 70% water and he needs to replace it. So,
And he's only eating dry people, so.
yeah.
Everyone's dry.
Yep. See, that's probably what it is.
Except for the metalheads who are definitely, they're dry now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now they are, but
This leads to them pulling into a small little path where they stop, and Trudy jumps out to throw up. No actual throwing up, however, happens, which
is weird that
Yeah.
they had the budget for poop cannon, they had the budget to rip a man's head off, but they didn't have
blood
the
spray.
budget to like put a half a scoop of like chili or something in
Yeah.
your mouth to spit out for this.
How much you want to bet it was a second take? And she was like, I'm not doing that anymore.
I'm not putting any more clam chowder in my mouth.
Yeah.
I'm just not. And they're like, fine.
Mr. Swartz here, the special effects man. Is it difficult to make something like puke, or?
Not really. I mean, a good go-to is just oatmeal. I like to try to get a sense of what the person wants to put in their mouth and hold there for minutes, because I have a real hard time ever trying to do something like that.
Yeah.
Oatmeal, cream of mushroom soup is a good standby. Yeah.
Do you ever heat it up?
Mostly oatmeal.
Get to a good temperature?
I would bet any cream-based
Yeah,
soup.
I try not to put them together. Give them one or the other.
Oatmeal and soup.
Yeah.
Be a little bit of Campbell's chicken noodle.
Yeah, it's
You
the
vomit up noodles.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they had like some elaborate thing planned with another cannon, like shooting puke out of it, and then they were like, "Wow, that didn't work," and then they forgot.
They're like, oh, we actually ordered twice the poop
Yeah,
and none of the puke fluids, so they just used all the poop in the last scene and then had nothing else to shoot out of the cannon.
That's why it was such an excessive amount of diarrhea.
See, they had too much.
Everyone's standing outside. Peck gets outside as well. And Judy asks him, "How many have you killed?" He doesn't know how many people he's killed. That's not
bad
a good sign.
Yeah.
yeah, at least 2 every night, probably for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he's killed only that one guy at the first stop, so.
Well, then there's that guy. There's the 2 metalheads. I mean,
Yeah.
up to this point, he's already killed like
The 2
10
people at the
people, right?
motel,
yeah.
the 4, 6, 8. Yeah, it's at least 10.
The others want to let go the granny and the girl, but Peckerhead is against it as he wants them to have their show, since it was that big thing Judy dreamed of doing.
I love this because even when he's starting to turn heel, like we have to, it's not, hey, no, I want the band. I want to hang out with the band. But this is your thing. You guys need to get to the show. He's still looking out for the band.
Yeah.
He's willing to sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
He's not a bad person. Just, those 13 minutes. Judy is adamant about not playing, which causes Max to be surprised, go, what? Which causes Mel to shove him. I like that they have those little things in there.
Of just those two. Like, they spend a lot of time just like, it feels like there's really like Judy is her own thing, and then there's Mel and Max are the part of the band. Like they're a team, and then you have Judy in the front who's like, no, I'm the band.
Peckerhead is like, yeah, I second that. This is your dream. You're going to regret it if you don't go through, which is important life thing,
Yeah.
Follow your dreams. Cut to them driving in front of the big theater I forgot the name of.
House of Independence.
House of Independence. Judy's walking in slowly, meets with Amir, who calls her gnarly, tells her that she smells like shit. He's like, oh yeah, broke down in mud or manure. And he says, you're late, sound guy is waiting for you, but instead of the sound guy, it is Zach now.
We cut to some slow motion shots of the band kind of dealing, right? Like everyone's just like looking in the mirror in the green room. They're just dealing with this. They don't know where to go from here. The good times are in the rear view. Now they have a demon problem, apparently.
Right.
It was all fun and games when he was killing metalheads, but now he's gone too far when he poops on them. Judy leaves the green room to go get some air, and who comes chasing after her? But what she thinks is just like some fan. She's like, the person's like, hey, you're Duh, right? And she's like, yeah. And she looks up, and it's actually Jen Jennings, the woman that she had been dreaming of meeting, right?
The drummer.
Yeah, the drummer
Right.
who also has her own label. Judy starts fangirling, and she's like, oh my God, yes. And Jen Jennings is like, hey, we loved your music. And she's like, really? You loved our music? That's insane. And then she sees Peck, who comes around the corner and goes into the green room. So she starts to get kind of distracted, not really listening anymore. But then Jen's like, oh, are you nervous? She's like, yeah, super nervous. And she's like, I'll be right back. Then Jen tells her that like, hey, we would love to possibly have you with our label. You're just the sound we're looking for. And she's like, that's great. Well, then she runs into the green room and she's like, Peck, what the hell are you doing here? He's just casually having a beer. He's trying to like pretend this didn't happen. So he's just in there casually having a beer. Judy's like, no, you know what, Peck, you're out of the band. And he's like, well, you can't make that decision. The band's got to vote on it. So they hold a vote. And even Max holds up his hand.
Max can't deal with the dookie.
That's the moment I wanted to turn off the movie.
Yeah, right.
Completely.
You've come too far, though. You've come
Sadly.
too far now. You have to see how it ends. Now, Max is so scorned at this point, he's even willing to vote Peck out of the band. Was pretty bummed for Peck at this point. Again, I understand, but I was bummed. And this is kind of where our Peck dies, right here. Because then he finally stands up and he's like, I wouldn't be too sure about that. We're approaching midnight, so you might want to reconsider kicking me out of the band. Judy and the band, they're getting ready. They're going up there on stage. Someone knocked on the door. They're like, hey, get out there. And Peck is there with him. He says, hey, knock him dead. I love a lot of the shots coming up here. I really love this next like montage. She's about to go on stage when all of a sudden a hand grabs her by the shoulder and she turns around and it's a police officer. He's like, hey, do you have the white van out there? She's like, what? And then she sees Peck slipping off into the distance. These two cops must have like ninja jumped in here.
Yeah, right.
So like one's got a hand on Joe or on not Joe. If only this a personal dream of mine.
The cop's got a hand on Joe. Thank God.
We
He's
got
gone.
Finally.
They got a hand on Max and Mel, and one just talking to Judy, and she looks at Peck before just kind of apparently agreeing that's their van. So we get some slow motion shots. You got this heavy metal synth playing. You see they're all handcuffed. They're going to jail. And like I said, these shots are great.
Yeah.
Just slow motion of them being arrested, the blue light, everything like that.
My particular favorite is when she's about to go on stage and like it's that like blue purple light.
Yeah.
And that just keeps like hard cutting to different angles of her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's just like trying to figure out what to do, and it just disorients us and her. It's great.
It's awesome.
It's great.
And we cut forward to 8 months later, and we hear a news report that we find out, and we start to see some like news footage here. We find out that there was a mistrial in the Duh case after 2 days of deliberation because Katrina and Ruth, which are the young lady from the van and her grandma, they testified that it was a goblin man of some sort because there's like a drawing. And this is insane to me. I am not a lawyer. I am not a man of the law. But if two people came to the court and said, you have to let the band go for these like 10 murders, it wasn't them. It was a demon man. Something tells me that the law wouldn't be like, oh, we don't know what to do with this newfound information. Mistrial. Let them go.
Did they actually say it was a goblin man?
Well, there's
They
a
have a
sketch. They
bad
didn't say that.
sketch.
They just say it's like a man, but the sketch is he's like
The sketch looks like a goblin.
the sketch is a goblin man.
Yeah.
So I guess they probably just said it was a man with sharp teeth or something. But
Yeah.
what is the sketch?
It
The
could
man
work.
with the gray forehead.
I mean, you could probably say that's Uncle Peck if you saw him in public.
Midnight to midnight 13.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a real tight time window to catch him.
Yeah, exactly. I do like too. It shows the dickhead rising. It shows a picture of them, and there's these little things like graphics pop up, 2 hearts that say R.I.P. and some angels, and it says "May angels lead you." They didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
They suck.
What kind of upsets me about that is that at the beginning, back when they were playing,
Mhm.
I really dug the sound right at the beginning
Of Dickheads Rising?
Yeah,
Yeah, before
then-
the screaming.
yeah, and then he started singing, and I was like, "Wow, you ruined it." It was good.
Yeah, absolutely. I was in the same boat. So the court agreed it's time for the band to get out, and so we see the band all kind of doing their stuff in prison, but they're getting let out today.
Max is supposedly 5 years old, as mentioned in the news
Does
report.
it say he's 5?
Yeah. I wrote that down. It says he's 5-year-old Maxwell something something.
That explains his mentality.
That explains
Yeah.
a lot, actually.
and why he's so short. It's just he's just a big 5-year-old.
Yeah.
The band's going back on tour though. They're doing a free show on June 18th. They're doing the Acquittal show. It says the House of Duh. And we get back to the band and they're in the basement, not like a fancy green room or anything. They're just in the basement doing a little toast. The 3 of them. I liked this. I was like, hell yeah. They got, but we knew something had to go wrong.
Right.
They have one big old group hug led by Max. He's the first one to throw his arms up in the air. They do a little jumping around. It's very cute. I very much liked it. And then we cut to, again, them playing another absolute banger. They're up there just jamming out. Max sounding like he's auditioning for a Green Bay cover band, Green Day cover band.
Green Bay.
Green Bay. It's a mixture of Green Day and Old Bay seasoning. They just cover them in the stuff. They're out here doing their thing. The crowd's going wild. It seems like there's probably a full house. They never show the crowd, but there's a lot in front of the camera to give you that like sense of it being packed in there.
They show the crowd.
Do they show the entire crowd?
Basically, because they look at Judy.
Well, yeah.
That Judy looks and sees.
Yeah, but you never see like a wide shot of the crowd, I don't think.
No, not necessarily.
But Judy looks at her watch and realizes it's 11:59 and sees Mr. Peck standing in the back of the crowd. She loses him, and this is again where the audio goes really, like the audio is great here.
Great.
It starts to like kind of fade out when she sees Peck, and then you cut back to her, you hear the music. She's got the realization. It's 11:59. What's going on here? Max doesn't notice. Mel doesn't notice. Judy's the only one who knows. And every time they cut back and forth, the music's just ethereal and numb, and Peck's gone, right? She cuts back and he's gone, and she's searching the crowd for him. And as the music drowns out, you get the beep, 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 beep. It's midnight, and the music transitions from the band music to like a screaming of the crowd as the alarm is chiming. And then the crowd screams in terror as Judy just watches in horror. And then she finally blinks, and we cut to credits.
It's a weird tonal shift in like the last 15
10
minutes.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
It's all
think
slow-mo.
Peck kills Judy, or is it like, oh, I'm gonna make you suffer?
More like
you
that,
can't
I'd say.
do this without me. I think, I
Yeah.
think it's I will kill everyone until you just let me be in the band.
Like, do you think that Peck had this elaborate plan to get them caught by the cops like a while ago?
I don't
Like
know.
to get them to the show.
I
And
doubt it.
it happened before, they were voting him out. Like he was like, "Oh, this is gonna turn. I better figure out a plan to
To
get them."
absolve himself of murders,
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah.
Maybe. But then you would think that he would have killed the two in the back of the van.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have left any witnesses alive. I think that it was just shit happened. Because I think once he turned on the band, once they turned on him, I think that's when he was like, "This is it. Like, I'm no longer gonna be I'm not their friend anymore." And then they went to prison, and he's like, "Oh, the band's getting back together. Not without me."
Well, he definitely had plans. He was gonna kill the two no matter
Oh
what.
yeah.
But like
Definitely.
he didn't because he had to like have them trust him just a little bit more,
Yeah.
a little bit longer, and then he was gonna kill them. Well, while the show happened, but the cops were there, so he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's possible.
You're making me doubt Peckerhead, and I don't like that. You're ruining my mental image of him.
Just go back. Just go back, Finn.
I
Yeah,
can't.
that's
Four
why
times.
I don't want to. I don't care for the ending of this too much because
No, I don't
it
either.
makes you not like Peckerhead. We want Peckerhead.
Because wouldn't it have been? What if he would have just been back there dancing or something, or just admiring the band?
Yeah, and the last cut is Judy smiling instead.
Sure, you get something sweet out of it then. But then I guess you don't have the villain of the guy,
Yeah.
But then the tonal shift does feel so out of left field considering how goofy the movie is.
Or we'll do something even cheaper and say that was just a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Yeah,
I'd be so mad.
I was waiting for that.
I'd be so mad.
Okay, yeah. So on the scale of malevolent to benevolent, what say you, Nick?
I'm benevolent. I don't care for the general subject matter of the movie. It's not really my scene, if I'm being honest. But it was there a familiarity with this movie and the characters and kind of everything about it, because it felt like we made this movie, and it felt right, and it was just goofy enough, and I like the gore, and it was used sparingly but to great effect, because you can tell that this definitely had a budget that they were working around. And I think for what they appeared to be working with, they knocked it out of the park. The ending, it's a little weak. Kind of felt like maybe a rewrite, or just how do we wrap this shit up? And we've definitely been there. But yeah, no, I'm going benevolent on this one. What do you got, Sam?
Yeah, I think it's pretty benevolent too, because like throughout the entire movie, I was genuinely rooting for every single person. Well, except for Mel, because she was just there.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, at first I was like, oh, Max is kind of a bad actor, but like it didn't matter in the end because he was just so sweet, and it really I really enjoyed Max and Peck together, and just that it made me feel good throughout the entire movie except for the last 10 minutes, and I was like, come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Like can't we just be sweet in the end? Because like you go through the whole movie and you're like, you forget it's like, quote, a horror movie.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is just a funny, like they're having fun with their friends kind of thing, like a nice road trip movie. But like, I don't know, all in all, I thought I enjoyed it most of the time. It drags a little, but the sound production and the shots in it, they're pretty excellent. Like these people who made this definitely have some talent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with benevolent. Let's go with you, Mr. Two Hands.
Benevolent. It's fun. It's campy. Like you guys both said it. The last 10 minutes are kind of a weird tonal shift that like it looks great, but it's just confusing. But honestly, all in all, I would watch this again. I would show this to other people because it's just a goofy, fun time. That feels like something we made, and you could feel you don't. Nowadays, we watch so much crap on Malevolent movies that has like shitty CGI effects with when they just couldn't do a practical, and like they didn't do anything of that in here. They made it all practical. I appreciated that in the audio design and the music. The fact that the music was something I would listen to on my own.
Yeah.
Is something commendable to me, that it wasn't just thrown together garbage. So Benevolent for me. What about you, Finn?
Instant Benevolent. I don't know if it was because I just got straight from work. I just had blast. It was a great movie. I really liked the actors. They managed to play their characters well, especially Peckerhead. I actually checked if he's like a professional actor, and he is. He's a theater actor, like a medium-sized one in terms of.
Yeah, I don't know why Judy hasn't been in more.
Yeah, she's really terrific.
She's great.
The ending made me doubt the Benevolent a bit, but I can just watch half the movie and be like, oh, Peckerhead and his antics, they're all friends. It's such a nice movie. Joe?
Oh yeah, no, I enjoyed the film. I'll give it a Benevolent. I was actually fine with the ending. I thought it was kind of like a subversion of like the whole like everybody gets away with everything after mass like murder. So it's just kind of like playing on the whole gimmick of like if you were with Michael Myers like the whole night, like the cops would like throw you in jail for a year. And yeah, no, I thought it was good. I liked the gore. It had really good gore. And I thought it was funny. Yeah, no, so yeah, you've been listening to Malevolent Movies. We got lots more podcasts on here. We got some video content. And if you like, you can check out our sister podcast, The Man With No Brain, where me and Ryan basically just kind of dissect what's going on in my noggin. So yeah, no, definitely make sure to like and subscribe. If you liked it, hit the bell so you get notifications of whenever we do the new podcast. And yeah, no, if you want a t-shirt, go check us out on T-Lee, or T-Shop. Or,
yeah, you're getting there. Just type
something.
Type T in your URL and then just type any word after it.
Yes, yeah, and you'll find it. You'll find our t-shirts.
Joe has no penis.
No. I agree. People
That
are
is
that's
correct.
false.
Yo, man, pick up.
Hey, man, what's up?
I need a bug movie. I need to make a bug movie.
Tyler will never go for it, dog. He just doesn't understand what makes bug movies special.
I think I know a way to make him understand.
The precedent has been established. Insects in the movie business. Bugs Life Them and Starship Troopers. Tyler is a party pooper. A renaissance of bugs is waiting, laying eggs. They are gestating. Let us have our magnum opus. A swarm of bees, a swarm of locusts. Bugs that crawl and bugs that fly. Bigger, biggest, supersized. Zach already proved to you just what a big bad bug can do. Tyler just don't seem to get it. They want the worm. They want the cricket.
Bugs, they want the bugs. Oh, we really want a bugs. They want the bugs. Bug movie.
Full of protein and nutrition, a future lies in that direction. Mealworms turned into paste, into a slurry, salt to taste. The livestock industry can't keep up. The only option is a cup of grasshoppers turned into bread. It's peer-reviewed, they have the cred. For 12 small payments of $40, we'll set you up with creepy crawlers, shipped alive direct to door. Forget to cancel, we'll send you more. Recruit your family, recruit your friends to sell for you on every end. At the top is where we'll be. Please don't contact the SEC.
Bugs, find the bugs. Bugs and scorpions. Bugs, fire bugs. Worms and cockroaches.
So here's the thing, you don't know about bugs, they work real hard, they don't ever do drugs. We're not asking for much, just for you to listen. Look at those bugs, watch them glisten. The nest glass trap insecticidal, if we don't see more, we'll turn homicidal. We want to be scared like David Arquette, doesn't have to be spiders, whatever we can get. We'll take ants, flies, centipedes, mosquitoes, maybe even sharks.
Now that I think about, like, I know this is a bug thing, but I'm a big shark guy too, so what about bug-sized sharks with wings or something? I know now's not the time. Okay, we'll workshop it later.
Bugs, they want the bugs. Oh, we really want a bugs. They want the bugs. Bug movie.
Insects in the movie business. Bugs Life Them and Starship Troopers. Tyler is a party pooper.
There's only one way to end our frustration, to sum it up. Malevolent infestation!
Sign up today for your bug protein subscription.